everyone, it's time for this week's or this month's Willie's Ramblings and Pickup video. It's been a while since I've done a pickup video, just been really busy with work and getting busy with Classic Gaming Expo, trying to get ready for that. We're under 30 days away from the Classic Gaming Expo now. So there's a lot of things happening. I'm trying to get all the console areas set up and the tournaments all set up and everything. So that's coming real soon. Another bit of news, the ColecoVision Flashback is going to be at the show. Mr. Tolman from ColecoVision LLC, or Coleco Holdings LLC, is sending me a flashback unit to my home. So I'll be bringing it with me to have set up on the console area for everybody to play. So let's get to the pickups. I got a lot of pickups to get through this week because I've got 2 weeks worth of stuff I've found. Mainly it's Sega Saturn stuff, so I'm trying to build my Sega Saturn collection a lot more. But we'll start off with some of the odd stuff here. Now this I picked up from Collector Vision Games. It's Nibbly, Son of Nibbler. I actually did a review video of this. That's a separate video that you can go watch. Next thing I picked up was Starblade Alpha, just the disc only, for the PlayStation 1. Really good version of Starblade. It's pretty close to the arcade game. Now, what's really nice is a lot of these Starblade games you get on the PlayStation. There's one on the Sega CD. You really just can't play them using a directional pad. It's very hard. So I discovered that this Starblade Alpha will work with a PlayStation mouse, PlayStation 1 mouse. Makes the game a whole lot easier to play. This is another pickup I had this week, a little PlayStation mouse. So that makes playing Starblade on the PlayStation pretty much near identical to the arcade. Very easy to control. Don't have a bit of problem with it. Next game I picked up for my PlayStation is Galaga Destination Earth. Pretty interesting game. It's not too bad. It's actually a lot of fun. What's neat about it is the first wave basically starts off, top view, kind of like a 3D look view, where the invaders come in from the top of the screen to the bottom, like in the classic arcade game, and you're shooting them. Then the screen will change to where you're actually flying into the screen, kind of like Star Fox-esque kind of shooting. And then finally you have another screen where it becomes a side-scrolling shooter. So it actually changes up in gameplay as you play the game. It has different scenarios. Kind of neat. It is a lot of fun, so I highly recommend this game if you're a Galaga fan. Next thing I picked up was a loose copy of Gun Griffin for the Sega Saturn. I'm not going to show gameplay of this. I've showed it already like once or twice already, so I'm not going to show gameplay of it. This I'm taking out to Classic Gaming Expo for people to play. Next thing I picked up for my Sega Genesis is Afterburner 2. That light off of there. Not too bad. Bad of a game. It's a lot of fun. Not too bad. Next thing I picked up was Gary Kitchen's Super Battle Tank War in the Gulf. And I cannot figure out how to drive the tank. I can shoot the machine gun, I can shoot the main gun, I can aim the gun, go to the map, but moving forward and backwards, nope. Haven't figured it out. So I'm going to break a cardinal rule. I'm going to read the instructions. I normally don't read instructions. Alright, moving on. Now let's go to a couple Sega CD pickups I've had. First one is Soul Star for the Sega CD. Kind of like a gameplay of Galaxy Force 2 on the Sega Genesis. A lot of fun. It's done by Core, which usually does some fairly decent games. Really neat graphics on here. I'm really enjoying this game. It's well worth picking up for the Sega CD. And if memory serves me right, this was an exclusive to the Sega CD. So you can't play this on any other system but a Sega CD. Very interesting. And the next thing I picked up was a nice box copy of Starblade for the Sega CD. Looks pretty much brand new, like it's never been used. Now, again, what's neat about this version of Starblade is you can't use the PS1 mouse. That's for the PS1. But they actually did make a mouse for the Sega Genesis. The Sega mouse. So I picked that up this week to play Starblade with. Works really well. Have no complaints on playing that game now on the Sega CD since I got the mouse. Now the mouse came with a little bundle package here from the Sega Club that was called Wacky Worlds. And basically allows you to color pictures, make music, play little mini games, things like that. It's just some interesting little mini games you can play. Mainly I just wanted it for the mouse so I could play Starblade on my Sega CD. Now supposedly that Sega mouse also will work with other games on the Sega Genesis. I'll be interested to see if it works with Lemmings, because that's a game I like playing on the Sega Genesis, but I can't stand using the D-pad on it, so I gotta find that game and see if it works on it, or look it up on the internet, either one. To the internets! Alright, now let's get to the Sega Saturn pickups. A lot of Sega Saturn pickups this week. First thing is I found another Sega Saturn at my Trade-It store. Pretty good shape, works perfectly fine. All the videos I'm going to put on this pickup video is from this Sega Saturn. It was $19.99 at Trade-It. Heck of a price for a Sega Saturn. First game, picked up, Sega Saturn, Mr. Bones. This little bad boy is actually 2 CDs, which I didn't realize. And I can't get by the first level of this game to save my life when I'm running away from these skeletons chasing me. Now the funny thing I like about this game, the limited amount of time I've got to play it, is how as your skeleton gets hit, pieces of him fall off. And eventually, when I was playing the game, I was basically just a torso and a head just kind of bouncing along the screen. Freaking cracking me up. I'm looking forward to trying this game out some more, get a little bit better with it. Maybe have a better gameplay video of it in the future from my channel. Next game I picked up, Sonic 3D Blast. It's pretty much the exact same thing on the Sega Genesis, maybe a little bit graphically better. Nothing, spectacular about the game. It's a little hard to control. Don't know if it's compatible with the analog, the 3D pad or not. I don't say. I doubt if it is. But this is basically going out to CGE for people to play on a Sega Saturn. It'll be out there. Next game I picked up, Battle Stations. Kind of a fun naval war game where you have, think of it like 3D Battleship. In the campaign mode, you have your fleet that you send out, and you can have a submarine, aircraft carrier, destroyer, that kind of stuff. And you intercept another enemy fleet, and you go to battle mode. And basically you steer your ship around, you got these little crosshairs, you try to get onto the other ship, and then start shooting your weapons to try to sink the other ship. It's kind of fun. I've got it on my PS1 as well, but I went ahead and picked it up on the Sega Dreamcast because it looks a little bit better, I think, on the Dreamcast. Cool. Sega Saturn. So that's a neat pickup. Next thing I picked up, Skeleton Warriors. Pretty fun side-scrolling platforming beat-em-up game. Pretty neat game. I think there was a cartoon series called Skeleton Warriors. I vaguely remember. I think there was. I vaguely remember it. It's a pretty fun game. I get a big kick how the guy is walking through the level. He's like, cracks me up. Pretty neat game. The next one I picked up was Mass Destruction. I've got this game for my PS1 as well. My buddy Indie Soul has this for his Saturn. He told me it looked a lot better on the Saturn than it did the PlayStation 1. So I have to agree with him. It looks a lot better on the Sega Saturn than the PlayStation 1. So I was pretty happy to get a hold of this. And of course, I found a complete copy of Gun Griffin 2. I'm not going to show a video of it because I've done it before. But I got a complete copy of it in the box now. Next thing I picked up was Last Gladiators Pinball. I like pinball games, virtual pinball games. And this one is kind of nice. It has 4 different pinballs in here. The only thing I don't like is I don't like how the information screen pops up right in the middle and blocks the board for a split second. It kind of distracts me while I'm playing. I'm hoping you can turn that off because it is kind of annoying when you're trying to play the pinball game. But it's a really good pinball. Physics aren't too bad on it. Overall, it's nice. Next pickup I got a hold of is Saturn Bomberman. I love the Bomberman games. And this one is outstanding. Main reason why I picked this up, because there's a multiplayer mode in here where you actually play up to 10 people at once on the same screen using the Sega Saturn Netlink and 10 controllers. So I got a friend of mine that does a podcast, Now You're Playing with Podcasts, Chris Bidd, who's bringing out a bunch of controllers for me and a couple of those little adapters to hook all the controllers up to a Sega Saturn. So we can have some 10-player Bomberman games out there on the Sega Saturn. We'll try to get a projector so I can project this up on the wall so you have a nice big screen to play this, because I imagine it's going to be pretty small with 10 people at the same time on the screen. So be neat to see this being played at Classic Gaming Expo. And yeah, it's going to Classic Gaming Expo. So you'll be able to play this there as well. The next pickup, Magic Carpet. Had this game for the PC, kind of liked it. This was like only a couple bucks. I went ahead and picked it up anyway. I think the PC version plays a little bit easier, a little bit better, mainly because of the mouse control. This one's a little bit hard to play. Basically trying to aim up and down, and fly around. It's an interesting game. I like the PC version, so I'll give this a little bit more of a chance. The next thing I picked up is a complete in the box Nights into Dreams. The 3D control pad and everything. Complete instructions, the whole 9 yards. Not really played Nights into Dreams very much. This is my first time I've actually really played it doing the pickup video. It is quite a bit of fun. The only bad thing about this is my 3D control pad isn't working. So I gotta figure out what's going on with that crazy 3D control pad. I don't know if I got a bad cable or something's happened to the control pad, or maybe I'm not doing something right. But basically I need to figure out what is going on with that crazy 3D control pad. And then of course, this was picked up a couple weeks ago at the flea market. I found another ColecoVision. Yeah. So this makes number 5. I got 4 that work and 1 that's getting a memory transplant. Putting that 5-volt memory kit in it. It blew a chip. So figure, well, instead of placing the one chip, I'll take them all out and put that 5-volt memory upgrade and maybe put a different power switch on it, do that modification as well. Maybe even do a composite video. I don't know. Another project I got to work on. So that's pretty much all the pickups for this week. Yeah, that's everything. So, thanks for watching. Whoops. One more pickup. Almost forgot this one. I found the flight stick for the Sega Saturn. So now I can play in my wing arms air games with a true analog stick instead of that crazy D-pad. So it should be a little easier to control.